The following podcast is brought to you by the Ebb Tide Treatment Center. Many people wrestle with addiction. You don't have to. Reach out to the Ebb Tide Treatment Center, where they wish to empower each individual encountered with the support, hope, and tools required for long-term sobriety, priding themselves on providing the best possible treatment experience for you and your loved ones based on unique needs. They're committed to breaking the stigma that plagues those suffering with addiction and their families by educating and bringing awareness to the community. The Ebb Tide Treatment Center provides individual and group therapy, multiple recovery pathways for support, evidence-based clinical support, integrated aftercare social reintegration, personalized treatment planning, program addressing whole life health, and Vivitrol program, all available. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, reach out to them at ebbtidetc.com or call 844-430-4357. Hello once again, everybody. Thanks for listening to AIW's The Card is Going to Change. Before we get into this week's episode, as always, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors that help us bring the show to you for free each and every week. Firstly, thanks to Angelo's Pizza. They're feeding us here as they always do while we record, and they, of course, bring pizza to you at our live events at Mount Carmel. If you want to try more of their pizza or anything else on their menu, it's all delicious. Head to Angelo's on Madison Avenue in Lakewood, Ohio. And thanks to Smart Mark Video, they record all of our live events. And if you want to relive any of those or watch them for the first time, you can purchase that on DVD or digital download from smartmarkvideo.com. And additionally, head to powerbomb.tv, sign up using the code ABSOLUTE, and you will get a 20-day trial for free. And then stick around and just keep watching the shows that we put out there from the AIW archives. And as always, thanks to Jack Prince, who helps take care of all of our printing and graphic design needs. They can do all of that and more for you, whether it be banners, t-shirts, business cards, flyers, everything and anything. For all that they have to offer, head to jackprince.com.
jakprince.com.
Oh yeah, that sweet, sweet voice you heard, making his The Card is Going to Change debut, none other than AIW student Wes Barkley.
Say like WES Barkley.
.com. ES Barkley. You got your own website now? Is that what you're throwing out there? .com?
It's under maintenance.
Oh, okay.
We're working on it.
GoDaddy.com?
Yeah. We're all
using that domain.
Also joined
Candace
once
Michelle.
again by the Bone Collector Dominic Guarini. As always, AIW owner John Thorne. My name is Steve Guy. I am your moderator of sorts. On this week, as we told you last week, we are talking rulers of the world. And, cat's out of the bag. Secret was out that day. You all know the big storyline here. No Sid. And hopefully you all listened to that podcast.
Yeah, I don't think we need to rehash the morning. It's been highly documented.
Yes, it's John Thorne doesn't need any PTSD from it.
Yeah, let's get in right to the event, I suppose.
Overall, once it happened, did you feel a lot better?
What do you like? What part happening?
Once we got there and people were like okay with it, and you know what I mean? Because
You only had 2 refund requests.
yeah, one?
I mean, once people didn't care that much, I felt
felt better.
I felt relieved. Yeah.
Okay,
But I mean, some guy did file a PayPal dispute. I will say that.
oh son of a bitch!
But it does say right on our website, no refunds. PayPal ruled in my
Subject
favor.
to change.
There, yes,
PayPal ruled in my favor, as I sent the screenshot of our store where it says no refunds under any circumstances.
Thanks, PayPal. Well, then we'll get right into the show itself. And, did our meet and greet happen before the show or only during intermission?
Only during intermission.
We'll get to that later then. So we kick off with Filthy Tom Lawler. He wants to be the new captain of the ship. Said so in a promo. He takes on Lewis Linden. I don't know, tried and true man of AIW, Lewis Linden.
The gatekeeper.
They delivered yet again. And Tom Lawler delivered yet again.
Yeah, Tom Lawler, it's like giving him kind of test after test after test. And he always seems to overachieve no matter what. You know, and I know that there's like maybe people that are questionable, like question his his transition into pro wrestling or whatever you want to call it. Maybe like he's a little less publicized than like a Matt Riddle or something like that right now. But I personally think Tom Lawler is probably one of the best kept secrets on the independent wrestling circuit, I guess, if you want to call it.
Yeah, I would agree, and I think he's probably one of the best in terms of the crossover guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's just like putting him in there with a guy like Lewis Linden was another like. Lewis is kind of like a balls to the wall kind of guy that knows the modern independent wrestling style probably better than anybody. So it was just kind of one of those things like let's throw Tom out there and see how he adapts to this situation.
Yeah, and Tom just he gets it, like he gets everything about it. It's the complete package. He can tell a story in the match. He can do that modern style.
He could talk.
You could talk. The character stuff. When you hear the match with Dom and he comes out and he's throwing bones at you because you're a bone collector.
I think Dom could probably speak on Tom Lawler a little bit better than I. He's actually been in the ring with him and experienced his skill set.
Yeah, no, Tom's one of those guys that he comes to the crossover, but a lot of people don't know that Tom wanted to be a pro wrestler. Kind of before he wanted to go into MMA, he got done being a college wrestler. He was living in the Orlando area, and he got trained to be a professional wrestler by Alex Porto. A lot of people don't know that, and I get questioned a lot when people ask me about Tom. But I think Tom gets the idea of doing kind of like a complete package of mixing the MMA with pro wrestling, with his own, spins on character work more than anybody right now. And he's got a kind of like a unique charisma to him that is just that you're gravitated towards, that no matter what, either you like him or you hate him.
I like him.
I like him too. I think the AIW crowd likes him.
Wes Barkley likes him.
Yep.
I'm saying from a babyface or a heel perspective.
Yeah.
Like either you're a fan of him and you want to cheer him, or like you still respect him enough but you want to boo him because he's just got this kind of eccentric attitude of, doing the gimp entrance with the throwing the bones at me, or, coming out to Christina Aguilera Fighter, stuff like that.
Yeah. Sponsored by Pampers and Durex condoms.
Yeah, man, I still like when he came out in the full bondage suit, and I also question why he owns a full bondage suit.
I can answer that if you want.
Let's keep that one in the dark for now.
Maybe, yeah. Well, maybe
might not be podcast appropriate.
Yeah.
Right. The next match is one of those that wasn't publicized, and it was a brand new tag team. Out comes Mance Warner, who everybody loves, and then his new tag team partner, Sean Schultz, who most people hate, and they are accompanied to the ring by
But they were like kind of like, yay,
yeah, right,
okay, and
then the guy who accompanies them to the ring,
the Duke, which. You want to be a heel? You just roll out there with the Duke, man. He's like
absolutely.
This is kind of like a rewrite to my idea that I wanted to go with several months ago of tagging up Schultz and Mike Tolar with the Duke.
Right.
Mike Tolar still missing.
We have no clue where he's
no idea
at.
where Mike Tolar is. If you've seen Mike Tolar,
please inform us.
Yeah, let us know of his whereabouts and his well-being.
Even if Mike Tolar didn't want to wrestle, I wish he would just roll through the school because he's got just so much knowledge.
Yeah.
Which people don't understand. But
and we just like him as a dude.
This was this was kind of like a rewrite to that idea. As we talked about last week, Mance Warner was a guy that's been coming and doing ring crew and appearing on the bar shows and paying his dues to that respect on how to get booked in AIW. He's kind of went and did all the right things. So it's just like, hey, I have this idea. I think Schultz as a singles did a lot last year, and we've touched on that on this podcast about would people care as much if Schultz wasn't the last guy in the gauntlet or Schultz wasn't the last guy in the Jaylet. But you can't do that every year, you know what I mean? So
right.
It was an idea I had to kind of reinvent him, still as a heel, but put a different spin on it. So, like I said, Mance Warner was kind of the perfect guy to slide in to that, to that spot that was originally supposed to be for Tolar. And, put the Duke with them is, keep the Duke on the shows because, let's be honest, we don't want to see the Duke be, wrestling. And another thing is, let's go out of the gate and establish Mance Warner as a heel because Mance Warner was kind of very well liked up until this point.
Yeah, I think in some ways this teaming makes more sense than Tolar, even just given the styles and character of Mance Warner and Sean Schultz, as opposed to Tolar with Sean Schultz.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have that Southern style out of both those guys.
Dirty Southern heel?
Yeah, kind of dirty Southern heel style out of both those guys. And you put the kind of dickhead mouthpiece with Duke in there with him, and it works perfectly.
They both got the lethal eye pokes, too. You got to watch out for
True.
that.
Emperor of the Eye Gouge.
Yeah, I might
Sean
wear goggles
Schultz.
if I ever get in the ring with them.
Well, they took out the Young Studs, who, again, everybody just loves. I don't think, thankfully, let me say this. I don't believe that there were any Eric Ryan moments in this match.
They won in the crowd. I think they're getting crazy.
But not where you thought Eric was going to die, I don't think.
I mean, there was no pounce off the bleachers.
Yeah, no
but
pounce
Eric's
off the
still-
bleachers.
Eric's still bumping like a madman throughout this match into the guardrails with no regard for his body.
I think I said this to somebody when this match was going on. I said, the young studs, they're like they're Teflon, man. Like they could lose forever and still be the most one of the most over acts on the entire show.
That music
I mean-
hits and everybody's going.
Well, there's
"Oh."
that, and then there's always, of course, the Road Warrior Hawk haircut that Eric Ryan's been sporting for the last month.
So he's only got a little bit of time left on that because he's got a wedding. He's got to be.
Oh
in.
yes, that's correct.
Pink mohawk at a wedding, though, right?
I did that once. I did that once. That's another story for another day.
Well, the next match we go right into, it's a 6-man tag. It's DCR, Dr. Dan and Brian Carson. So it's dedication personified, and their mystery partner comes out, and it's Mr. Gregory Iron, sort of dressed as Sid. So he rolls out. We do a Sid promo, and then they are taking on Team Justice. We still found a way to have Team Justice together. Not as you originally wanted, John Thorne, but Dick Justice, then Matthew Justice, and then we get ECID3. Just as you heard on the podcast, during the Sid podcast, that was one of the ideas, and it did come to fruition, and out comes EC3 dressed as Sid Justice. And
You had to go on a little vest hunt during the day, didn't you?
I did. I had to go on a vest hunt during the course of the day. That and
a lot harder to find a leather vest than you would think, huh?
so hard to find a leather vest. The one now, so I find one. It ends up being the one that Gregory Iron wears, and what people were mocking me when I come back with them. Like, here's this. They're like, oh, EC3's not gonna fit in that. Like, not knowing that he and I are communicating all day. Like, he wants the smallest leather vest that I could find. And I got him that, but
Damn near ripping out of it.
Yeah, he's like, I don't think you realize leather don't stretch, brother.
Yeah, I did, but he's yeah, that's perfect. I mean, I sent him pictures. I was like, dude, here are the options. And he's like, yeah, go with that. And he's sending me pictures of him in the blonde wig, which was great. And, he ends up getting a vest from somebody else. So Greg Iron wears that one. I was happy because we probably weren't going to do it if Sid was there, but I got to say, we're live, pal. That was fun.
This match just turns into the most ridiculous fucking I don't even know. Obviously, the right people saw it because EC3 was offered an NXT contract shortly after. Shortly after
A
this,
couple weeks ago, we saw him on Takeover.
this is really the time that it all comes together for him.
Yeah, this is what put it over for him right there.
I think those pictures going viral on Twitter they helped a little bit. I guess Paul gave him a call shortly after.
So do we tackle intermission now?
No.
With ECID3 or
No. Well,
keep the chronological order on this?
we're going chronological order. Well, so anyway, this match happens. It's ridiculous. They do. It probably turns out way better than if Sid would have been there, which this was going to be the exact match if Sid was there. Greg Iron put in it simply because I didn't know if Sid would be able to lift Dr. Dan or not. I'm not sure what kind of physical shape Sid was in if he did come. But they do some great stuff. They do some stuff with some scissors that, East Sid 3 goes up on that second rope and the whole crowd chants no. Also props to the crowd for playing along with all that, because none of that match works unless the people are so interactive, and that was the definition of an interactive match. I will say, before it even starts, Greg Iron coming out and doing the fist bump, but he's doing it with his cerebral palsy hand, which was like, that's where he gets his power from. Right. Was really funny, and I think that kind of set the tone to where we were going for the whole match.
Yeah, I think it turned out better than Sid being there, honestly. And I know that was the buzz on Twitter as well. Everybody's saying that they had more fun, they think, than if the real match had taken place.
Except for that one guy that filed that PayPal dispute.
Except for that one guy, yeah, which...
I don't even think he came. I think that he saw that Sid wasn't going to be there, and he decided that it wasn't worth his time.
Yeah. He was wrong.
He missed out.
He did miss out.
He absolutely did. The next match we roll into, a rematch. It is the Bone Collector Dominic Garrini.
You're out of order, but...
No, this is next.
This was next.
No, but the tag match.
Oh, no, tag match is next.
What tag match is next?
The tag title match is next.
Yes. You guys, because you guys go right before intermission.
Yeah.
You're right.
We'll get that story as to why that was that way.
Yes. We did have to do some reshuffling on this one. So the next match is To Infinity and Beyond. They are the tag team champions coming into it. They have an open challenge.
Mystery open challenge.
Out comes Hornswoggle, Swoggle, as we know him, and fresh off of his wonderful storytelling show at the Funny Stop Comedy Club in Cuyahoga Falls the night before, and then telling everybody, he's gonna.
I will say that it was a hell of a comedic performance.
Yeah, it was.
I had no expectations for Swoggle the comedian.
Right. Yeah, he was good.
And I guess I'll let some people in on a little insider stuff. Swoggle was, in fact, always booked for this event.
Yes.
However, he was going to be a mystery. Once Sid canceled, we decided to put the story out there that he decided to stay, just so the casual fan that was coming strictly for Sid would be like, oh, at least there's going to be a former television star there. Because I know it sounds crazy, especially fans of independent wrestling or from us, Swoggle is just a dude. But the casual fan, this guy was on WWE TV for 10 years. So my thought was, hey, let's put it out there that he's staying so we can advertise him now. So maybe it will lessen the blow of Sid, and people know that they could still come and meet a television star, which that worked. That served its purpose. Obviously, I think it would have been a way bigger pop if he came out totally cold, unannounced.
Yeah.
But that had to be sacrificed for the based on the Sid situation. Let's.
But people still didn't know that he was going to be a part of this match, at least.
No.
We got to say we saved that surprise.
No, but I'm just saying, I think if he's hidden in the back all night and that's a surprise,
and then he just shows up,
that's a way bigger pop than he's still got a big pop, but it's just a way bigger pop if there's no expectation of this, this television, former television star is there. Because my thought was, if Sid's there, you know what I mean, that's all people are going to care about. We could sacrifice advertising Swoggle.
Yeah.
Obviously, that all had to change. So it's Swoggle and PB Smooth to answer the challenge. And this was like Chandler Biggin's dying wish. And this is 100% why this happened. A lot of people are, oh, what the fuck? Why are these guys a tag team and this and that?
I mean, why not?
And, it's 100% because Chandler Biggins would always joke that he's going to make PB and Swoggle be a tag team one day. So, I saw an opportunity for it to happen. That's why it happened. Initially, though, when I decided, I knew no matter what, I was going to change the tag belts on this show. Initially, I was going to have it be Candice and Britt coming out as a tag team, but we were unsure of what was going on with Candice, and then Britt was actually booked in California, so it just that idea totally fell apart, and I went, you know what, I'm going with the Biggins idea, and it all worked out based on scheduling and stuff like that, because I had to check Swoggle's schedule obviously for the next few months and see, hey, can you do all these shows? And he could. So this was in the works well before the whole Sid thing.
Yeah. And then as this match is ending, somebody comes and chimes in my ear and says, get them to extend the celebration. Make them stay out here as long as you can. I was like, all right, because the next match isn't quite ready yet. And that ends up being Dominic Garrini and Ethan Page.
This was actually supposed to open the show. It was number one on the sheet.
Yes. So when John Thorne, in his already depressed mind state, gets to Mount Carmel, he goes, Dom, Ethan Page is stuck at the border / stuck in a snowstorm. It's going to be a while. We're hoping he's here by 8. So this whole time while he does that, I get in touch with Ethan, and he goes, where are we on the card? I said, well, we were supposed to be the opener. We then find out, he says, we'll push us to 3rd. So I get us to go to 3rd. Then I find out, he's like, that's not going to work. And I said, well, I got us to go on before intermission. He's like, okay. So it was a process of...
See, I didn't know that he was even there. So after the tag title switch, I was getting everybody ready for intermission. And then...
Yeah, we were just going to go to intermission early.
Yeah, we don't go to intermission. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening now?
So this whole time, me being under 2 years since my debut, I've got, this guy that's a 10-plus year veteran saying, put together this match, and, we'll just do it. So for me, it was kind of like a real pressure situation of like, oh my gosh, am I going to put together the worst match ever? And he's going to tell me that I suck and this is all my fault.
So I don't know he's there. So I'm getting everyone ready for the meet and greet at intermission with ECID 3. I'm wrangling people upstairs. I haven't been downstairs since like the second match. So I'm getting things together. I have students getting the tables ready and stuff and getting the SID 8x10s. God damn those SID 8x10s. But I'm getting all that together, and then all of a sudden, it's Steve Guy's like, all right, and the next match, you know what I mean? And I'm like, what the fuck is going here? Like, I thought some things got mixed up and confused. And then Ethan Page comes out and he looks at me. He's like, really? And I go, dude, I didn't even know that you were here. He's like, all right, we're going to have this match. And he's just like laughing at me. And I 100% thought that was just, we were just going to intermission right there.
Yeah. I mean, look, my job's not hard when I'm there necessarily, but there are certain things that I ask and I try to be kept up to date because I'm never downstairs then at that point, constantly ringside. I too, the entire time we're having the tag match, in my mind, I'm like, all right, I'm going to tell everybody we're going to intermission next, until somebody comes out and just chimes in my ear, hey, make them extend, we're going to have the next match. I'm like, what? We're going to do this?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things. I just kept asking that. I said, you sure? And he's like, yeah, we're fine. Just let me warm up a little bit. So that was why I sent you the message of, hey, tell him to celebrate just a little bit longer, because he was still stretching out a little bit. I mean, to be honest with you, Ethan went literally from the car to gear to through the curtain for that match. So proves nothing more than just how much of a consummate professional he is, in that regard.
And he was, all the stress went away when he got into the ring and he turned and saw the picture of baby Jesus in the arms of Joseph and Mary on the wall there at Mount Carmel.
Yeah, very excited at that moment. No, but it was another good experience to get another match with Ethan. One of the better storytellers out there today on the independent wrestling scene. And anytime, someone like myself, pretty young in the business, gets a chance to work with a guy that works a pretty different style from what I work, it's always great for me to be able to pick up something from him, and add it to my repertoire and do things like that.
What's up, everybody? Alex Worldwide Keller here to tell you all about at Thrift Store Jobber, Instagram, Etsy, eBay, etc. And he's got a Yankee Doodle Dandy of a shirt for us this week. It's not a doozy. It is the Great Muta, straight out of the NWA, size XL. Once again, like new, how is this fan not wearing this shirt all the damn time? Muta was sick. The elbow drops, the kicks, the moonsaults. This boy, how is this shirt like new? Where does Thrift Store Jobber find these? I don't know, but he's selling it to you, the consumer, and use promo code WORLDWIDE and get 10% off your order. Instagram, Etsy, eBay, all that jazz. You think Muta was a jazz guy?
And then from there, we actually do go to intermission.
There we go.
And that's where those Sid 8x10s come out.
Yeah, and EC3 goes out in his full Sid get-up and just starts autographing, I'm not Sid, he wasn't here, I was. Actually turns out to be like our longest meet and greet.
It was massive.
Definitely.
You were running the line, right?
I was with him, yeah. It was a lot of fun, but the line was, Arn Anderson numbers we're talking here.
That's not an exaggeration.
No, I'm not. We were there for a while, but a lot of people were having a lot of fun. Like John said, the autographs, those were going viral as well too. So
yeah, people were posting them on Twitter, and and it was like, it wasn't like we were charging like a big meet and greet. It was like $5. You got a picture and a Sid 8x10.
Like whatever you want,
right?
Pretty much. So,
but we actually had to extend our intermission.
Yeah, because
the line was so big.
I was like, let's go. And then I look, and there's still like a line, like,
yeah, I was like, dude,
almost
we can't go yet.
Almost back to Pedro to get, to get these autographs. And I was like, oh, they're buying them, so we might as well just wait.
It was fun.
Yeah,
we took, again, I think that's what we do well here in AIW. We get these unfortunate situations, and then we make the best of them that we can. And that's another great example right there.
Yeah, I agree.
So we leave intermission, and then we roll into the match that was set up at Music Links that we discussed on the last show. It's the production, Frankie Flynn, Colby Red, Derek Director, Magnum CK, and they take on Team No Consequences, Gary the King Baller, AJ Gray, Joshua Bishop, and Trey Lamar. And this is a fun match. Another 8-on-8. It's a good
little hijinks at the end too.
Little hijinks at the end.
Yeah, it's kind of like the opportunity for the two factions that, really got established within the last year, throughout 2017 to kind of have that face off. 1997 WF Gang Wars style.
Yeah, dude, it's like the Bariquas and the DOA.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can anticipate about 27 matches between any combination of those guys.
Yeah. Setting it up for the future.
I know, I love it.
And as if there weren't enough guys in these factions.
Yeah, well, Chase Oliver makes his return at Music Links, though was, I believe, gifted a Bermuda vacation, so was not able to make it to the show. So it was 4-on-4, but man, No Consequences sure could have used them because
the production produces a fifth member.
They produce a fifth member. The buzzer at Mount Carmel goes off
mysteriously,
and 8-Ball Eddie Only. The stagehand shows up on a mini stool to distract AJ Gray while he goes up for the Phoenix Splash of Death.
Stagehand, every theater production needs a stagehand.
They do, and this production's
little set change happened.
Yeah, this production's stagehand is Eddie Only. Sets up the distraction for the production victory.
When Kaplan's ready to unretire, I think he's going to be the production's official teamster.
He's gonna be a stage builder.
He's gonna be the carpenter.
He's gonna be coming out hitting the IW entranceway with a hammer.
He's gonna be the production's union guy.
He's gonna come out the time card or the time card clock.
He's gonna take his breaks.
Yeah, I was gonna say the union breaks. I'll be with him on those.
He's gonna be smoking ringside like the Headhunters.
Their matches are gonna get delayed because fucking their set builder is gonna be on his fucking mandated break. We're gonna have to extend intermission long for that too.
So you're gonna do a strike for benefits?
Yeah.
The next match we go into, singles competition. It's the Intense title. Joey Janela and Jimmy Jacobs. Back was his second match back at AIW. And
Fortunately, it's his last for a while after this.
Yeah. This was a good match. I mean, everybody obviously into it. Crowd into it. Man, these guys went back and forth. It's everything that you anticipated it would be.
I mean, this is like an independent dream match. You know, I know that they did it a couple weeks ago, but I booked it probably, you know, I don't know, before that one was announced, I think. But this is just like an independent wrestling dream match. You know, Jimmy Jacobs was always that kind of wild guy, you know, throughout his career. And Joey Janela is like the current kind of version wild guy, you know, just something about it, like polarizing figures.
Yeah.
And I like saying polarizing figure. Mm-hmm. And you know, the match goes good, and then it's over, and Jimmy Jacobs isn't getting up. And then I have people kind of running up to me telling me he's hurt. So Biggin's mom and you know, her coworker Jeremy, they're both paramedics. And they have all their medical equipment there. So I tell them, and you know, they run down to take a look at him, and you know, they try to fix him up as best they could, but you know, they they advise him, like, you know, he needs to get X-rays and stuff, because it felt like something was wrong there. And you know, as we later find out, there was a pretty serious injury. I believe it was a hamstring tear.
Yeah.
So Jimmy is out for the foreseeable future at this time. Yeah, which is unfortunate, because you know, he's coming back probably the hottest he's been in his career, booked solid, and you know, now he's gonna have to start over again, and that sucks, because you know, he had that huge wave, you know, coming off the WWE release, and you know, that just sucks. That sucks for him to get a setback so quickly in his return.
Yeah, it was kudos to him, because honestly, he gets hurt maybe a little bit more than halfway through that match.
And he just keeps
because
going.
He had said something, and he found a way to keep going. I think they would have gone a little bit longer, or they were supposed to, but yeah, it was what you saw, folks. That was legit. Jimmy Jacobs not selling anything there, but he did not want the help still going back to the locker room. He wanted to make that walk on his own as much as he could. So, but best wishes to Jimmy. We hope he gets better soon. And then from there, we roll into a match that's it's a rematch from Jay Litt. Is that right? Hot Sauce Tracy Williams.
Yeah, I believe it happened in Jay Litt.
And Eddie Kingston. Mm-hmm. It was either night 1 or night 2 in 2017.
Night 1. That was the first rounder.
And I mean, that was a match that people were hot for all of 2017. Yes. So you give them this rematch.
Might as well bring it back, right?
Banger Central.
And we got Gear Eddie, right?
We got Gear Eddie.
He claims to me that there's no difference between Gear Eddie and baseball shorts Eddie, or basketball shorts Eddie, and I vehemently deny that.
There's definitely a difference.
There's 110% of difference.
You guys talked to him about it on here, and
we did, and he was getting John Thorne riled up all weekend leading up to that point, because Eddie came in early because he wanted to attend the Swoggle show. So I had a house guest for the whole, two house guests for the whole weekend, in Eddie Kingston and Swoggle. And Eddie just keeps telling John Thorne he's got his basketball shorts, no gear. Until they finally said, I got my gear.
Thank goodness.
And you got Gear Ready that night. It was, they delivered once again. I think that the match they had, everybody's talking about one of the best matches of the year in AIW.
Let's give him another one to close out 2K17.
There it is.
And I think that they matched it.
Yeah, it was a sick match.
It was.
Yeah. Wes Barkley, you saw it.
Yes, I did. It was unreal. I'm going to give him that. Unreal match.
And we had scary moments there. They're pile driving each other, suplexing each other.
Yep.
Back and forth. Everybody okay at the end of the match, though. I know people were worried there. And
yeah, it was fucking awesome. Excuse my French.
It's okay. And then from there, we roll into a four-way. Gringo Loco, Matt Cross, Laredo Kid, and in her final AIW match, Candice LeRae. And what do you think about this one, John Thorne? This is what got Candice LeRae signed, right?
No, Candice LeRae was signed before this happened.
Candice LeRae has been ready for a year.
She's been ready for a year. AIW's Mike Modest.
But she could have. This is one that, like, because of that, she could have taken off. You know what I mean?
I mean, maybe back in the day, but like Candice has clearly been like on the WWE's radar for a while. Obviously, the Mae Young Classic. She's done some of those NXT, like the Battle Royals and the multi-women matches. So obviously, she'd been out there for a while, and it's one of those things where I think it's just great that, I mean, honestly, it's her second to last independent match, and she'd meant a lot to AIW over the last couple of years. I mean, whether it be the matches she's had or being a mother hen to us kids at the academy.
And she still went for it.
Always.
She could have taken it easy in this match, didn't. These four, as you would anticipate, a lot of high flying, crazy action, and Candice LeRae, one of the rare moments in AIW where it's a send off and she gets the win. Not always the case.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those deals. It's a feel good story in the end. Candice gets the win. She gets the send off as a winner, and now you can catch her on Wednesdays on the WWE Network.
That's right, and Big Twan will do that.
Oh, Big Twan will very much do that. Very excited.
That's his brother's wife.
T2.
That's his mom, man.
Young Tweezy.
The Twino Bambino, as Wes Barker likes to say.
Yeah, yep. Twan just beat Parker Pierce the other night too. And he's officially in Parker Pierce's faction. They
Delta Iota Kappa.
Yeah, Delta Iota Kappa. He said you had to beat me to get in, and T2 brought out the spear.
He's
More on that next show.
no longer a pledge.
No longer a pledge.
How about that? So we'll roll into the main event of the evening. Our AIW Absolute Champion Nick Gage taking on Tim Donst, and that's the return match.
And I think this one people need to go out of their way to see it. Just for anybody that doubts Nick Gage's in-ring wrestling abilities,
yes,
this proves that Nick Gage is more than capable of having a wrestling match without any weapons or death matching or any of that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This was not their match before, tons of weapons and everything brought out. This one, straightforward wrestling, and people even made it a point to say on social media, one of the things that they loved is when they went outside the ring and they went over the barricade, they were shooting or chain wrestling on the floor of the gymnasium.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that John was saying. Nick's a very highly skilled wrestler.
Yeah, very underrated.
And he's very good in the ring. Like, I had just gotten the chance to wrestle him back in November, and we really didn't do anything crazy. We wrestled, and I think that it's an underrated part of Nick Gage's game. I think his his money comes from the blood and guts. But he's a guy that's been wrestling almost 20 years now. So you look at it, and he's got a set of skills that's unmatched. I mean, he runs his own school with Homicide, out in New Jersey. So, I mean, there's no doubt that this guy's got the skills, and I think that the ability to show that against a guy who trained by like Lightning Mike Quackenbush and Tim Donst, it was a good side of Nick to see, and it's going to make him even more viable as a champion. When you see that he's not just a deathmatch guy and he's not just this, crazy man, I think I had someone tell me the best way to put it is this generation or my generation, Nick Gage is our Bruiser Brody in the terms of he's a wild man that you just never know about, but not only can he do the crazy violence, he can also wrestle.
Yeah. And I think that was a lot of people's question once he became champion is, well, are we just going to see a bunch of violence and death matches here on out with him as champion, or how long can this last? And as noted here, Thorne, you're not a huge fan of those kind of things all the time.
No, I mean, I like death matches for the same reason everyone else likes death matches, but as a promoter,
right,
you just can't have that on every single show because the fans just get bloodthirsty and they just get immune to it all, and you constantly have to raise the level of violence in which I don't think is necessary, a lot of times. But the thing that's great about Nick Gage is, I know it sounds I know it sounds ridiculous, but the prison thing may be the best thing that ever happened to him because it made him believable as a, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nick Gage, the wrestler or whatever, his presentation has really not changed through the course of his career. However, you know, knowing that this guy went to prison and now is amped up even more than he was before he went, I think it has made him the most believable pro wrestler that there is because, you know, as the average person goes, you don't run into too many people that did, you know, 5 years in prison, and you know, you really only have like movies to frame, you know, your reference on that. And Nick Gage is 100% a fucking character straight out of a fucking movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Dom, I want to throw this out there because you've wrestled him elsewhere, and obviously you've seen him here. And when we talk about him having these death matches, but capable of so much more, do you think that sometimes is attributed to because people know that he does that and that's what he's more known for? Now at this point, it's more so somebody's booked with Nick Gage and they go up to him and they want to get out of their style and they're like, oh, well, I can do a death match this guy and show that, you know what I mean? As opposed to
I think
Nick being like, we have to do this all the time.
Well, before Dom answers that, I will just say that I think Nick Gage thoroughly enjoys pain and he loves being
that I don't doubt.
He loves being in that unpredictable environment.
Yeah, no, I think that like a lot of times, even the other big factor is people are really intimidated by Nick to the point where it's like, well, we can do your kind of match. Whereas I think if you come at Nick and say, hey man, we don't got to hit each other with chairs tonight. We don't got to break some light tubes over each other's back. Let's wrestle because I know you're a hell of a wrestler. I think Nick respects that. I think like Nick will respect you more as an individual for you know, pitching that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think a lot of the time it's like Nick is so intimidating to people that people get quickly intimidated and like, well, yeah, we'll do what you want, Nick.
Polarizing figure.
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Good. And then just to give you guys a frame of reference as we sit around, and we have, what year are we watching here, Dom?
1996 Royal Rumble.
Ladies and gentlemen, an appearance by one of the headhunters.
Is Manuel?
Going
that
straight for
Manny?
Yoko too.
Yeah, I don't know which one it is.
Going after a bearded Yoko.
They're both in this one, though.
They both will appear at some point. After that, I mean, that was our main event. We roll over to the Funhouse. Good times as usual. Fans behaved. Nothing weird in the photo booth.
The wrestlers didn't behave after. We won't get into that.
We will not get into that story.
We'll leave that. We'll leave that up to the imagination. And,
Shenanigans.
And that pretty much does it. So that's going to end up on this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Tune in next week. As we said, this was going to be kind of recap heavy over the next few weeks. So next week we will talk our most recent show, our send-off for Ray Rowe. So join us then. For Dom Guarini, WES Barkley, and John Thorne, my name's Steve Guy. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll talk to you next week.